Hi everyone, my name is Anders, and today we're going to talk about unlocking new opportunities with digitalization. 1 year ago, we took a look on all our digital tools specifically oriented for mobile phones. These tools, we could see that there was high performance among them, and if we take refrigerant slider at the time, actually was being used every 5th second. So by the sentence I just said, it has been used one place somewhere in the world right now. RefSlider specifically had 1.8 million in downloads, and that's more than 200,000 active users that generate the 5 seconds 24/7 globally. We looked at the user statistics, we looked at all of your feedbacks on our app stores, Google Play, iOS store, on our social medias, and there was a lot of both positive feedback and feedback on change requests, etc. But what we realized is you needed some kind of in the tool to talk directly with us. So a year ago, we added a feedback loop. In this feedback loop, we gave you the opportunity to talk directly with us from Danfoss to say, what would you like to change? Or why don't you have that? Or what do I do in this situation? And based on all that feedback, we evaluated what are we gonna do by this? Because what we could see from a performance point of view, it's being used. It had 4.5 stars out of 5 stars in the app stores. But when we started to read all of your questions and all of your input, we suddenly saw in the refrigerant slider, what do I do when I need to service this product? Or how do I change the system when I'm going from one refrigerant to another refrigerant? And based on all of these feedback, we came to the conclusion that we had to do something. So a year ago, we had this scattered landscape of multiple tools. But what we released in this year, and has been growing on top of all the time, we today have a new environment called RefTools. And RefTool is the tool I'd like to present to you today of what we have been doing in the last few months and what we're gonna do in the near future. So we started to build a personalization engine. We took the user-centric approach and then built this engine, this platform, where we would learn based on your usage of this tool, based on how you were navigating it or how you were using it, what to promote and what to not promote inside this tool, so the tool actually adapts to you. On top of that, should you choose to create an account, you would be creating an account in the Danfoss single sign-on environment. And that means that the account you create here will also work for systems like our learning management systems, if you have accounts in our sister segment, heating, etc. So it's not a unique environment anywhere where you create this silo experience. It's an environment where you go into the Danfoss environment and we then personalize the experience around you. One of the experiences we had from the analysis a year ago was that the tools that had very heavy usage was mainly within the troubleshooting area. Troubleshooting as you had bought the product and now you needed to install it, or the product was already installed and there was a problem with it. You had to service it, or it was broken, or something was wrong. So based on that, we identified 6 tools around it. And I'd like to briefly go through them all together with you. So on the phone, you have an application available today called RefTools. And RefTools is looking like the app RefSlider looked like a year ago. So we simply took the refrigerant slider, which had this massive user base, and we knew based on the feedback, based on the reviews, that this was a performing tool. But we could also see on the feedback inside this tool that there was many questions around other tools. So refrigerant slider, for those who might not know it, is a tool where you have multiple refrigerants. We have more than 40 refrigerants, and it simply converts a pressure to a temperature or a temperature to a pressure. You can of course configure it to be both dew and bubble, absolute and gauge, etc. But we took the refrigerant slider and then we built on top of that. So for those who wonder why can I not find the refrigerant slider anymore, it's because refrigerant slider has evolved into RefTools. So RefTools is the app I have open on my phone right now. If you see in the bottom section of this phone, you can see that there's other menu sections. There's tools, recent settings, And the tools that I'd like to introduce you to today is the ones we have added to this journey. So refrigerant slider is the main startup, and you click tools in the bottom section, and now you are presented with multiple tools inside it. Let's take the first one in top, the magnetic tool. The magnetic tool is one of the recently added tools, and what it simply does is, based on the key hangers we gave out to installers through time, it's simply a little small key hanger that has a little compass on it, and when you put it to an element that has magnetism, then it starts spinning. The same does magnetic tool. So if you take magnetic tool and you have a magnetometer in your phone, and all new phones has that today, and you put it to a solenoid coil, if the solenoid coil is turned on, then it will start spin. If it's not turned on or it's broken, it will not spin. And as you can see on my phone right now, it's not detecting any magnetism, so it's standing still. Of course, the tool is made in such a way that if you have to reach to a place where you cannot see the specific screen on your phone or something, the phone itself will vibrate and it will beep if it detects magnetism. So it's an easy little handy tool that helps you identify if a coil is working or not. Of course, a solenoid coil. Next is the troubleshooter. And the troubleshooter is also a tool we have had for many, many years. It was a standalone app which we had included into RevTools also. It's a simple overview of a cooling application. And if we just take compressors for fun, you can go into compressors, you can see the product area that belongs to compressors, and then you can see relevant symptoms, remedies, and in the end, a solution. So if the compressor is running too hot, there is multiple reasons for it. One of them could be low evaporator load. And if you click that one, we can see a possible solution. And if that did not help your problem, you can then toggle back and try another one. So it's like a guided or facilitated troubleshooting guide, which has been living for a long time as a standalone. We have simply just added it into RevTools now, so it's available for you in the RevSlider previous experience as you were used to. Of course, we have added more and more content over time to Troubleshooter, and we will do that also going forward, so you will find more and more troubleshooting material. Next up is the spare part finder. The spare part finder started as an industrial refrigeration spare part finder. And what the spare part finder does, it presents you with a menu navigation to find a product. But what we have been doing over the last few months is we have been adding more and more cooling products into it. So today it's not only an IRF specific spare part app anymore, but it's actually a cooling specific app. And over the next few weeks we will add more than 50,000 spare part relations to it. So you should be able to find every cooling spare part that exists inside this one. How it works is you click a product type. I'm standing in front of a valve. I'm standing in front of a stop and shut off valve. And I can see that it's an SVA-L I'm standing in front of. I pick the size that is relevant. And in here, you're now presented with a list of relevant spare parts to that one. You pick the spare part that is the one you need to pick, and now you're presented with an image that confirms that, yes, I can see this is the piece I'm standing in front of. Of course, if it's an internal piece, you need to open up the product to see, yes, it is that package or etc. you need to change. You are also presented with product information. So if you want to see if it's the right size or if it works within the conditions, if you want to sanity check, am I standing in front of, or am I found the right spare part app for this? And last but not least, you can see all the relevant documentations to it. Data sheets, installation guides, etc. So if you confirm that this is the spare part you need, you can add it to your basket. And then in this basket, you can save all of your spare parts you have identified and then share that with your back office or wholesalers, etc., so you can easily buy it afterwards. Next one is the low GWP tool. And the low GWP tool is a tool that helps you go from one refrigerant to another refrigerant, and thereby also indicating how should you adapt your system. So in this case, how many turns should I change my superheat tuning on my TXV? So what you see on the screen right now is you have selected a T2 valve, and this T2 valve runs on a R404A refrigerant today, and you would like to change to an R407A. And the tool gives you a recommendation. It can be used. It validates it by showing a green sticker, and it tells you to turn it 1.5 turn clockwise that would make the system run efficiently based on the new refrigerant. Of course, if you chose an incompatible refrigerant, it would say no go because you could not superheat tune the system accordingly. And then last but not least, we have the TXV Superheat Tuner. So the TXV Superheat Tuner is a specific tool mainly made for superheat tuning a system. The tool today is not part of RevTools because we are working on a version 2 of the existing tool. This version 2 is expected to go live in Q4, and the second that it has been tested on customer audiences, we will include it into RevTools if it becomes successful in the test. So Q4 is the one you will see the Superheat Tuner if everything goes well. But this was the troubleshooting journey. But as you might also have noticed while we talk through these various tools, the troubleshoot and the spare part finder, for example, you typically would end up with a product. And then the journey stops there. We want to help you even further. So we want to now add something called a product finder. So if you in the troubleshooter are being told, I need to find a compressor or I need to find a product XYZ and replace it. In the product finder, we will now help you find that product. Or if you in the spare part app are presented with this is the spare part you need to do, then you can find additional information. So the product finder tool is actually just a find a code number by search or navigation, and then we present 360 the picture around that product. So if you are aware, you might know that Danfoss has a product store. In that product store, we have all product information available for every code number that is open for sale. We mimicking that experience onto your phone, so you on your phone when you are in the field have this experience available at your fingertips. So you can find, if you today can find something in the product store, you will in the near future also be able to find that inside the RevTools environment. On top of that, we will of course add all datasheet, installation guides, CAD files, images that is relevant for you in the field on these products also. But when you have identified these product infos or this product you need to find, we also want to help you moving that into a purchase. We want to make your e-commerce or your buying journey easier. So we want to help you populate the basket in here as you can do today on the spare part finder or in the troubleshooter, and then move that basket to your preferred partner. Because we know that the majority of you will probably go to a wholesaler or distributor to buy these products. So why not move our basket to their basket so you don't have to find the product again in their environment when you already have found it in our environment. But that of course sets a level of quality that both we need to have on product data, but it also sets that level of quality requirement to our partners' webshop environments. So we have also grown RevTools into a partner portal feature here. So if a wholesaler or distributor that has an e-commerce system logs in to RevTools, we give them additional tools that are relevant for them. So in the partner portal, there is a product info tool where you can type in your code numbers that you would like to populate with technical data on your site, and then you get it down in a file and you can then enrich your webshop. That guarantees the wholesaler that the product data quality we have in product store is the same product quality that the partner will have in their store, thereby giving a equal quality journey when we move a basket from our environment to their environment. Additionally, as I mentioned earlier, we will build this personalization engine. So when you sign in, we can do more specifically for you. And in cooling, we have various special initiatives. We have extended warranty programs, we have loyalty programs. They're all different from depending on where you are in the world. But what is a common denominator of all of these is it's typically in a new environment with a new account. What we want to do with majority of these is slowly integrating them into RevTools. So whenever you sign in to RevTools, you will then be exposed with the initiatives you are already part of. So if I take up my phone now and I click on settings and go into settings, there is a login functionality of the top of this phone. I click login and I sign in with my account that I have made. and now I'm signed into the Danfoss Single Sign-On initiative. It instantly recognizes that my name is Anders and my contact information or whatever I have filled out. And now in the tools section, you can see in the button that I now have an ambassador program available. So an ambassador program in this case is an extended warranty initiative, which typically would live in a standalone environment. But since this one has been included into RevTools and my account is approved to see this one, it naturally just enriches my experience with this initiative. And this can be done on multiple different initiatives depending on where you are in the world or what kind of customer you are. Like also mentioned, the partner portal, if you're registered as a wholesaler or a distributor, it will also adapt you into that experience. Last but not least, we know that a lot of you guys spend time in the car, between tasks or while waiting on a system to stabilize or commissioning a system, etc. So we want to give you some kind of education or entertainment or just something to kill time. We have Chilling with Jens as a podcast. We have made that available in RevTools for you guys. So inside the tools section of RevTools, you can find podcasts, and in there we have added Chilling with Jens. In the near future, they will also come in a localized editions, so you can find them on local tongues. Additionally, we want in the future to also grow the opportunity to take our learning management systems and include them into our environment. So if you sit in the car and you experience a problem and you kind of didn't get why it behaved like it did, and we have relevant training materials to it, we want to expose that for you while you anyway just sit in the car. So RevTools is a merger of all of the troubleshooting tools that is relevant for you. And on top of that, based on the situations you stand in or the way you have configured your profile, RevTools adapts to your needs. We had it now for roughly half a year, and we keep growing it and we keep adding tools to it. It has the same feedback loop as I mentioned in the start. So if you have feedbacks to it, wishes to it, critics to it, please let us know and we'll look into it. Thank you.